All right, the HSPSC HCS exam is just around the corner, and I know that pressure is seriously building. So in this quick explainer, we're going to cut right through all the noise. I'm going to give you one single, powerful strategy to absolutely own your final sprint. Let's just dive right in.
Yep, you see that right. 25 days. That's all that's left. We're in that final super intense stretch where, every single hour feels like it counts for 10. This isn't just a countdown anymore. It's the all-out sprint to the finish line. And honestly, the stakes have never been higher. And that, right there, leads us to the million-dollar question you're probably asking yourself every morning. You've got this absolute mountain of a syllabus staring you down, and just a handful of days left. So where on earth do you focus your energy? How do you even begin to decide what to study? Well, that's exactly the problem we're going to tackle starting now.
Okay, so let's get into it. The final 25-day sprint. Now think of this as your personal mission briefing. Our goal here is to totally shift your mindset, because in these last few days, honestly, knowing what to ignore is just as critical, if not more so, than knowing what to study. It's a total game changer.
So, where do we kick things off? Well, we start right on our home turf. Checkpoint 1 is all about getting that home ground advantage. We're talking about locking down the marks that are the most predictable, the ones that give you the highest return for your study time. And that, my friends, means Haryana-specific topics.
Just look at this breakdown for a second. Somewhere between 15 and 20%, a huge chunk of your GS paper is going to be all about Haryana. Now, in an exam that can feel kind of unpredictable, this part is your predictable advantage. It's your secret weapon. So targeting this section first, that's not just a good idea, it is the foundational strategic move you need to make.
Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. You want a high probability, almost guaranteed topic? Look no further than the Durga scheme. Seriously, this is a massive government initiative, and it ticks so many boxes. Social empowerment, green transport, it hits multiple key syllabus areas all at once. I'd be shocked if this didn't show up in some form. Let's just break this down into 3 super simple parts so it sticks. First, what's the goal? Well, the name Durga itself helps you remember. Driving upliftment and Rozgar. It's all about empowering women and transgender folks. Second, how are they doing it? That's the method. They're providing green e-autos. And third, the money, the investment. Just remember the number, 20 crore rupees. That's it. Goal, method, investment. Simple.
And beyond Durga, here are 3 more must-knows to jot down. First, the Haryana AI mission. You'll want to focus specifically on how it's being used in agriculture. Second, that 20% Agnivir quota for the police force. That's a really current, hot-button social issue. And third, a little gem of a fact that's just perfect for a multiple-choice question, India's very first LPG ATM, right there in Gurugram. All of these are quick, high-yield points to add to your list.
All right, home ground is secure. Now it's time to pivot. Welcome to Checkpoint 2, the National Hotspot Scan. This is going to be a rapid-fire review of all the big national themes that have been making noise lately. We're hunting for those high-frequency topics that plug directly into your core syllabus. First up, let's talk polity. You know all that recent chatter about changing state names, like the whole Kerala versus Keralam debate? Well, that's put Article 3 right back in the spotlight. You absolutely have to be crystal clear on exactly what power Parliament has when it comes to forming new states or changing their names and boundaries. And while we're still on polity, let's connect a big national law to what's happening on the ground in Haryana. I'm talking about the 73rd Amendment. I mean, it's always important, right? But it's especially relevant now, with Haryana pushing for these mandatory Gram Sabhas to handle things like water and sanitation. It's a textbook example of how a big constitutional amendment actually plays out in state governance. Now let's switch gears to the economy. Just look at this number, 57. That's how many new billionaires India created in just the last year. That's wild. It makes India the 3rd biggest billionaire hub on the planet. And you can bet this connects directly to those bigger themes, like wealth distribution and the whole Viksit Bharat 2047 vision.
Okay, let's do a quick lightning round on a few other key areas. You ready? For geography, get your maps out and focus on the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, huge geopolitical hotspots. For environment, just remember this name, Kalinger Fort. It's now a National Geoheritage Site. And for history, it's a classic, but you gotta know it. The order of European arrival. Nail down that chronology. Portuguese, Dutch, English, and then the French. Got it? Good.
Okay, so we flagged all these key topics, but how do you actually study them without losing your mind? This brings us to the absolute core of our game plan today, the Smart Study Filter. This isn't about what you revise, it's about completely changing how you revise.
Look, in these last 25 days, the old way just won't cut. Just inefficient, it's basically impossible. The smart way, the way we're going to do it, is to flip that whole process on its head. We're going to use a method I call reverse engineering. So what in the world is reverse engineering? It's actually really simple. You start with the current news headline, something that's topical, something people are talking about right now. Then you use that headline as a trigger, like a tripwire, to go back and revise the static foundational concept from your core books. See, it acts like a smart filter, automatically showing you what's most relevant to study right now.
Let me show you exactly how this works in practice. So, remember that headline we talked about? India's first LPG ATM launched in Gurugram? Okay, that's your trigger. Step 1. Step 2, you make the link. What broader topic does this connect to? Easy. It's energy infrastructure. Step 3, that's your revision task. You now have a focused reason to go and quickly review the static concept of India's natural gas and energy sector. See how that works? You just used a little piece of news to make a huge, static topic totally relevant and way more manageable.
Okay, we've covered the what to study and the how to study it. We've pinpointed the high-yield topics, and we've got our smart revision method. So that brings us to our final checkpoint. What is your very next move to win this race?
So listen, if you remember only one thing from our chat today, let it be this. Stop trying to boil the ocean. It's impossible. You simply cannot study everything. From now on, your strategy is to use the news as your personal intelligent filter. Let it guide you to the high-yield static topics that actually matter right now.
And that brings me to my final question for you. Now that you have this powerful filter in your toolkit, what's the very first headline you're going to grab and reverse engineer today? Don't wait. The clock is ticking.